Hey, welcome guys, and for our first episode, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the benefits that may be available for you. I know that the federal benefits are kind of a gimme, but a lot of veterans don't know about the state benefits that are available to you. So I'm sitting here with Danny Eakins, a good friend of mine, and also works with the Ohio Department of Veteran Services to make sure that veterans actually get the benefits that they need. And with all that to the side, he's also an OI vet. So you could tell us a little bit about your service.
You bet, Danny, and first, thanks for the opportunity. Really appreciate this. I enlisted in the Army right after 9/11. I was commissioned through Officer Candidate School and branched into armor. Deployed as a tank platoon leader in 2005, led 300 combat patrol missions during the Iraq election phase of Operation Iraqi Freedom. Later came home, transferred to the Ohio National Guard, where I had an opportunity to serve several years, both as a company commander and a battalion XO in the engineers. So ever since I've been, and in the meantime, I've been working here at DVS and Border Reach, a couple other jobs in the interim.
So Danny, can you tell me a little bit about what ODVS is and what it does for our veterans?
Yeah, ODVS, the Ohio Department of Veteran Services, was created in 2008, fairly new department in state government, was created with the express mission to try to help identify veterans in Ohio and connect them to their benefits. And as such, in that time, we've developed some direct benefits for our citizens here that serve in the military, the most prominent of which has been the Ohio Veterans Bonus. It was a bonus that paid up to $1,500 to veterans of Iraq, Afghanistan, and the Persian Gulf War. In the interim, the Iraq and Persian Gulf timelines have dropped off, but veterans of Afghanistan obviously can still, after they serve in Enduring Freedom or whatever the operation is there now, can still come home and apply for a bonus there. We have inherited the Ohio Military Injury Relief Fund, which is a bonus for one-time bonus for combat injured veterans, $500. And we also have some role in terms of approving programs for GI Bill training here in the state of Ohio under contract with the VA. And we operate a couple of Ohio Veterans Homes, which are a long tradition in Ohio going back to the 1880s, which provide primarily nursing home care for older veterans. We also have a domiciliary at the original home in Sandusky, Ohio, with a smaller nursing facility down in Georgetown, Ohio, which is a very high level of care, which I'm looking forward to living in one day when I get old and whoever's with me can't put up with me anymore, just put me in the home. So I'm looking forward to that the type of service they have up there. But
we were roommates.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it'll be great. We also kind of serve as a trainer for our county service offices. I'll talk a little bit about those a little bit later. And we help train those service officers on benefits and services available at the federal, state level. And we try to act as a communication node between agencies. A lot of veteran programming in Ohio isn't owned by our agency. It's owned by other state agencies or with our federal partners or local partners. And so we try to help coordinate their activities where we can and help them communicate with each other. We also have some other impacts. We try to act, I can tell you very personally in terms of my role as a policy person here, try to act as an advocate on behalf of the veteran population here in the state of Ohio. We've enjoyed some success in this area. We've helped lead the charge here in Ohio to get legislation enacted that makes it easier for veterans at our public colleges and universities to get credit for their military education and training. In fact, just today I got an email about a new, what we call military transfer assurance guide that is applicable to Ohio's public colleges in areas of information technology, so with veterans that have experience in that area. And we've also worked with our licensing and certification boards to ensure that, for instance, folks like medics get a better look when it comes to things like licensing for emergency medical technicians, nursing, even cosmetology was required to establish a rule related to making sure they're accommodating veterans and their spouses. And I'll tell you too, we've had some impact nationally. One thing that early on this department noted was a report that indicated that unclaimed veteran remains were being stored in funeral homes, unburied and unclaimed. And so we led a charge here in the state to get a law passed, and then nationally worked with other states to get Congress to pass, and the President signed the National Missing in America Act, which now requires all funeral homes across the nation to identify any unclaimed remains and ensure they get referred to the VA for a proper military burial.
So ODVS, that's for Ohio Department of Veteran Services. We have fans all across the country. So let's say there's a veteran that's watching it in Florida and they want to learn more about their benefits. Is there a Florida Department of Veteran Services, or how does that work?
All 54 states and territories, including like places like Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, they all have a veteran department of some sort. In some states, like in Ohio, it's a state department. In some states, they're a division of their Adjutant General's office, so they actually work under the National Guard. In most of those cases, it's called usually the State Department of Veteran and Military Affairs or something to that effect. There's some resources where folks can look. The VA maintains a website of all the different state veteran departments at www.va.gov/state-DVA. You can also Google, obviously, any state. Florida in particular has a very good veterans department and a pretty slick veteran outreach effort on social networks and stuff like that. A lot of good information down there in Florida. Obviously, a lot of military in Florida, so they have a reason or a good population to deal with there. And also, there's a National Association of State Directors of Veterans Affairs, probably a little more wonky group that's not as that has a list of all those state connections and things like that. But the VA is a pretty good website. But any state typically has something, some better than others, but everybody has a department of some sort.
So I'm excited to have you on, because when I first got back, I had no idea state benefits were available. The federal benefits, they're kind of a gimme, you're supposed to go apply for your VA benefits. But the state benefits, I really had no idea. The license plates, I think I knew, just because you see the license plates all over the place. So go get your veteran's license plate. But state benefits were kind of brand new to me. It was exciting to find out that there were those benefits. So like I said, that was kind of blindsided by me. Do you see that commonly with veterans that come in and had no idea all these benefits were available to them?
Absolutely. I had a very similar experience. I separated from active duty out of Fort Riley, Kansas in 2006, came back to Ohio, and transition programming at Fort Riley at the time was basically clear your belongings, visit CIF, make sure your canteens are clean 1,000 times, and then good luck. Here's your 214. See you in hell. So when I came home, I didn't know a lot, and obviously there wasn't even a department here in the state of Ohio yet. And so I didn't really know about county service offices, and I didn't really know about a lot of the job resources that are available. And so that's why essentially this department was created, to try to help fill that gap a little bit, where we can try to get hold of vets and communicate with them. That's a primary thing we want to be able to do, and that's why I appreciate this opportunity, obviously. I will tell you too that veterans also, in our military careers, we're trained to operate with minimal support in many cases, especially, folks working out on front lines and stuff like that. Like, we train down to the lowest level, the E5 level of, hey, if you're alone in a fight, you operate, you get your job done. And I think a lot of veterans bring that back. And so they're reluctant to seek help in some cases. Another thing we also see with veterans is, and again, selfless service, a value amongst most of the armed services. And we hear a lot of, well, I don't want to take a benefit away from a veteran that needs it more. And we hear that a lot. And I'm here to tell you that there's a lot of benefits available. Everybody that has served is entitled to them. And if they need to access them, they absolutely should, because it will make a difference in their lives and the lives of their families in the future.
So I know Ohio has a ton of great benefits, and you can't really speak on behalf of the other states, but just go ahead and kind of give me an overview of some of the benefits that are specific to the state of Ohio for their veterans.
I begin with the fact that Ohio has 88 counties, and all 88 of our counties have a local county veteran service office. That's, again, goes back to 1888. Ohio was one of the first states to establish county veteran service offices, because back in those days, veteran services were local. There was no national VA, there was no state VA, and so they were established as the old soldiers and sailors offices. And going to this local CVSO, veterans and their family members can help get access to service officers who will help them with VA disability claims, VA pension claims. They can help them access financial assistance, which is locally funded and locally awarded. So if a veteran's having trouble paying a mortgage, utilities, needs to buy food for the month or a couple of months, that financial assistance can typically help them out. Each county has their own policies related to how they issue that. Also, those county offices can often provide transportation resources to veterans who may have a challenge in terms of getting from their home to a VA facility for a medical appointment. Particularly our older veterans in particular, this helps. And in many counties, they cooperate with veterans organizations such as the Disabled American Veterans, where they literally will do door-to-door service. They will pick you up at your residence and take you to your VA appointment and bring you back. So it's really a tremendous collaboration. We consider that to be the front line of services here in Ohio. Another great resource is Ohio Means Veterans Jobs. It's a partnership between the state of Ohio, Jobs and Family Services, and Monster.com to allow veterans to post their resumes to a job site and allows employers who are military friendly to identify themselves. And so employers looking for veterans will find veterans pop up in their searches for workers, and at the same time job seekers, veterans, can look for military friendly employers through that website. We also have skills translators, information on all of our licensing and certification policies, our higher ed policies, because obviously I can tell you personally, and I know we've been successful in getting the state to look at education and employment as one topic, really. And also get access to a lot of information on higher ed financial aid. For instance, WARF and scholarship. We provide scholarships to the dependents of veterans who are either killed in action or are at least 60% service-connected disabled or higher. Some other items include Ohio does not tax military retirement pay. We do not tax military active duty pay earned by Ohioans outside of Ohio. So if you're an Ohioan stationed in Florida, Texas, wherever it may be, you don't have to pay an Ohio income tax to maintain your residency on that compensation. We also have the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. If you're 100% service-connected disabled, offers free hunting and fishing licenses. And 100% service-connected disabled veterans are also eligible for what's called the homestead exemption if they own property. So the first $50,000 of the value of their property is exempt from property tax. And of course, you mentioned 300 variations of military license plates available through the Department of Public Service, which is a great service to vets. And amongst those, 4 of those license plates are provided for free to the veteran. If you are 100% service-connected disabled, Medal of Honor recipient, a Purple Heart recipient, and former prisoner of war. Oh, and I should add too, the VA has 5 large medical clinics in the state, Cincinnati, Dayton, Chillicothe, Cleveland, and then a large outpatient clinic here in Columbus, 33 community-based outpatient clinics, and 8 vet centers where particularly post-9/11 veterans can go get behavioral health assistance if they need in a non-clinical, kind of non-VA institutional setting, a little more comfortable if they're nervous about going to the VA.
Yeah, I'd like to piggyback on that the vet centers are tremendous.
They are.
I went to them when I first got back, and it was just a game changer. It saved my life. I can't speak enough about the vet centers.
That's good to hear, and I'll tell you, one of the things I want to emphasize too while we're talking about it is behavioral health, because I can tell you that that's a project I've been working on a lot lately with a lot of our state partners and also community partners. We want to build a collaborative here in Ohio to encourage veterans and their family members to seek care for emotional injuries, and no one would think twice about hey, I hurt my knee, hey, I hurt my elbow, about seeking medical care. There's obviously stigma in America around caring for your mind, and there shouldn't be. We should be treating it the same way we do. I see a therapist myself still, 7 years running now, to help me deal with my issues. Started out as marriage counseling, got divorced, but I still find the counseling valuable. And I can tell you it's really changed my life and kind of the way I view behavioral health. I feel fortunate to be able to act as an advocate for this and encourage folks to really take advantage of the resources in that regard that are available in every community.
Okay, so we're doing this interview right now at 77 South High Street, which is where Ohio Department of Veteran Services is. But how would some other veterans go about, how would they take the first initial steps to learn more about what it is you guys do and how to apply for those benefits?
I would say one of the best things to do initially is our communications folks have done a nice job with our website, ohiovet.gov. You go to that website, we have some fairly simple navigation to some basic information. First is Ohio Means Veterans Jobs. You can click on on a link that it's a shape of the state with an 88 on it that gives you a direct link to all 88 of our county veteran service offices. That'd probably be the first place I would recommend veterans to go, particularly in terms of VA disability compensation. Any kind of issues like that they're having, that county service office is a great place to go. We also have special links there for our higher education. All 37 public colleges and universities are required to have a veteran program office or point of contact, and so they too have done a nice job of kind of schooling themselves up on not just academic resources available to students, which we have 25,000 GI Bill beneficiaries in Ohio, but also on the broader veterans benefits available in the community to those veterans and their family members as students. They can get access to information about VA facilities, health and wellness type things, behavioral health resources. It's a great place to start. And along that, we have, I would encourage folks in particular, when they visit ohiovet.gov, they have an opportunity to sign up for a listserv where we try to send out emails from time to time, updating people on benefits and information, a monthly newsletter, and that just tries to keep people informed on what's going on around Ohio from a benefits perspective. And of course, again, highlighting all those behavioral health resources that you guys highlight, the National Veterans Crisis Line, which is a good resource. We also have Help Ohio Heroes. You can access through ohiovet.gov that if you're looking for something closer to home in terms of behavioral health services. We have links to a registry of non-VA behavioral health providers who have been given military cultural competency training through what's called the STAR Providers Program, originally out of Indiana, but has been adopted at some level here with the support of Ohio State University, which is a great registry, and I can provide that, make sure it's on your website. And really that's kind of a good place to start. Go to the website, visit your CVSO. Even our veterans organizations do a great job of trying to put out information in their community, and sometimes they're engaged in that kind of stuff. And so, and just look people up online, Facebook, Twitter, get connected with those online resources like your website, a combat medic, Ohio Combat Vets, a lot of the work you're doing. And just don't be afraid to send that email, that instant message, ask the question, and get connected to this range of information that we have available for people.
All right, sounds great, man. Like I said, thanks so much for doing this interview. I look forward to doing more in the future.
Absolutely, Daniel.
All right, thank you. Hey guys, thanks for watching. The interview today is based off of one of over 40 tips and techniques that I use to transition home from combat. And they're all included in my book that was just released. It's called Lessons Learned, What Every Veteran Should Know About Returning Home from Combat. And this is a shameless plug, all right, because that's how confident I am in this book. It's definitely going to help people out. So I'd love for you to pick it up and let me know your thoughts. Thanks.